welcome to codeLive. Today we will continue with our refactoring from the Salesforce API to MuleSoft. We have been doing this series with added special guest that is showing us how to rely and leverage MuleSoft to perform API integrations and obviously get some benefits. But let's before we start and introduce again our guest today, let me remind you a couple of things that we have for you. So let me show you my screen. And let's go through this couple of things. Awesome. So remember, we have the Salesforce Developers website where you can find our latest news. You can find blog posts, videos, all of our documentation, podcasts, etc. So this is the place where you are communicating with us and getting the latest from our team. Also, you are watching us on this Salesforce YouTube channel. If you are not subscribed, go ahead, click on the subscribe button and enable notifications so you know every time we go live and we publish a new video. Take a look at the upcoming live streams we are doing right now. And let me refresh so you see that we are live. We are doing right now this Salesforce API transformation to MuleSoft. But upcoming next week, we will have Akshara Sawami processing large volumes of Salesforce data with MuleSoft. So more MuleSoft content here in the Salesforce Developers YouTube channel. We will have Filippo Seal, the coupling and dependency injection with Apex. We will finalize our series of this Salesforce API transformation to MuleSoft. We will talk about automation and the Tableau Postman collection. And there is an upcoming AMA talking about org availability and resilience. So we have a lot of live content for you all. Make sure you are subscribed and enable notification on this channel so you don't miss any of these topics. Now it is the time to give it a welcome to our guest, Jeff Douglas. Hello, Jeff. How you doing?
Hey, Julian. How you doing today? Great to be here.
Oh, Jeff, thank you very much for joining us again and guiding us on this refactoring and transformation of the Salesforce API to MuleSoft. The first episode was a blast. I mean, we learned a lot. Me especially, I learned a lot how to design an API with MuleSoft, but we have more things to do. So why we don't go ahead and do a recap of what we saw on the last session and what we will see today?
Sure. Yeah, we'll do that. So I'm going to kind of just go over here what goes to deck real quick. So if you didn't make the first episode.
Let me see. I need to share your screen with all the folks. So give me a moment. Because I lost your screen.
You lost my screen.
Yeah, it happens.
Well, while you're doing that, I'll introduce myself. So
sure,
I've been
of course
Salesforce about almost 8 years now. I started off as one of the few initial members on Trailhead. It was me and Chris and Sandeep. So I helped build Trailhead. I went over to MuleSoft for a while. Now I'm back at Trailhead. I'm working on security for super badges. And I was probably like a lot of you out there. I was consultant for a long time. I was roaming the country doing implementation of Salesforce with a company called Aperio. I've got a number of Salesforce certs and some MuleSoft certs. So we should be able to do some really cool stuff today. I'm excited.
Awesome. So we are now showing your slide. So go ahead, please, and let us know what we saw on the last episode and what we are going to take a look today.
So just a few slides. We're just going to go over it. So basically the scenario is you've got a Salesforce application, a Lightning Web Controller and a component that looks up flight information. So it uses a SOAP service and a REST service to look up flights. Your boss says, great, this is awesome. We want to have with mobile. We want to do a bunch of different things. So we're going to migrate this to MuleSoft. That's the current architecture. Salesforce makes calls to SOAP service for Delta and a REST service for United. but they want to make it discoverable by IT. They want to make it consumable so people can use it easily. They may want to use it in a mobile app or on their website. They want to have centralized governance and compliance, scaling, security, monitoring of it, and they want to be able to make enhancements easily. So in this case, we're going to use the SOAP and the REST service, but we're also going to add a connection for a Postgres database for American Airlines. So that's kind of what the scenario is. This is what we want the architecture to end up looking like, where Salesforce calls an API MuleSoft, and then MuleSoft in turn is connected to all these APIs here. And of course, that makes it super easy to add additional ones. You could have a third, fourth, or fifth, and Salesforce would never know because it's just calling one endpoint at MuleSoft, and that's bringing back all that data for you. So the first day, which yesterday, I think they do on the videos, like we'll have the first link up here, Julian, or something like that. So we actually looked at the Salesforce code. We designed the API using RAML, and then we did some testing, and we added that API to Anypoint Exchange so that people in the company could find that and discover what are the features of that, and even make mock calls to it with a mock endpoint. So today, we're going to actually use Anypoint Studio. We're going to build it, the implementation of the API. We're going to run it. We're going to do some testing with it. We're going to connect it to this database, to the REST service and the SOAP service. And then we're going to use one of my favorite features, Data Weave, to transform the data that's coming back to Salesforce. And then finally, we're going to deploy that API to Cloud Hub so we can see it all on the internet, okay? So that's kind of the day 2. Day 3, we're going to refactor the Apex code. We're going to remove all that old code that we don't need anymore. And then we're going to use an external service with Apex and Flow to call that API and use that awesome data inside your applications, okay?
So this is keeping getting better. I mean, I love what are we going to do today. Implementation. Are we going to write code or
we are not? It's similar. It's similar to Flow. It's kind of funny how they are very similar in how they work. They're actually called flows as well in MuleSoft, but it's all going to be point and click, drag and drop. What we're doing today is going to use Anypoint Studio, which is an Eclipse-based tool. So it's kind of challenging to see things. I apologize ahead of time. We tried to make the fonts and everything larger, but it's going to be difficult. So we're trying to work around that. There's a new version that's coming out. It's going to be built out of Visual Studio Code. It's going to be really super cool. I think it's actually in beta right now. So down the road, we'll probably have a number of codeLive sessions on that as well. So
yeah, that will be the Anypoint code builder, which will be in the cloud as well.
I knew I had no problems with knowing that you would actually know how the name of that application is. So thank you very much.
I have used it, and it's great. It's great. So let's go into today's session. Let's implement this API and show us how can we do this.
One thing I want to mention is that we did the design. I forgot a couple of things here. I want to point it out. We had this endpoint use destination. It should have been code. And then I forgot to add the query parameter. So if you're watching last time, we forgot that part. I apologize, but it's in there now. So,
okay, cool.
Okay, so this is Anypoint Studio. If you all done any Java development, it should look very, very similar. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to create a new Mule project here. And we're going to call this, let's see what name I got it here. So we're going to do codeLive. It's hard for me to see, so I know it's hard for you guys as well. The cool thing about this is also you can actually pull your API specifications from RAML or actually GitHub, a lot of different ways, but we're going to build it from scratch here, okay? So it's going to bring our project up here. Okay, so we've got our main file right here. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to start with building some flow. So we're going to build a flow for each of the endpoint or each of the service endpoints for Delta and United and American, and then we'll kind of go back and tie them into one giant package that will call everything. So that's what we're going to do first. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to start with the SOAP endpoint. So what we're going to do is we want to add a listener on here. Let's see, we're going to add a listener. And let's make this listener. It's going to have an endpoint. And the endpoint is going to be, actually, first we have to define a listener. So we have to set up a port. So we're going to have an HTTP listener. We're going to be on port 881. Make sure that's available. It's testing listener. It is available. So, okay, we're connection successfully. We're going to add that. And it's going to listen on the flights path. Flights, okay? I don't know if you can see that real well. So we can do, if we do, you can see we got flights right here, okay? And now let's go ahead and just grab a logger. So we can get a logger on here, and we're just going to do a little hello world here. And we're going to log the message, hello world.
Cool. So this listener is the input of our API.
Yes.
Cool.
Yep. And we'll have a flights one, and we'll have a one for actually for the code as well. So, okay. So let's go ahead and start this. I can right click and I can say run this project. We'll watch the logs here. Oh, I got to save it first. We'll watch the logs, and then I'm going to get the browser open here. 8081. So it's not up yet. Take a second to get up there. But one of the problems is to build every time. If you've used Java, you know you got to build everything all the time. So we're going to grab that. We'll watch the log. All right, it's about up here. I'll try to minimize the restarts, but sometimes it's going to be inevitable. So, all right, now it's up, and I can run that. Now, if we look in the log files here, in the logs, you'll see we get our hello world right here. Whoops. We get our hello world message right there in the log. So we know it's working. We know it's connecting. Okay. So let's go ahead now and get rid of this logger. And then we're going to, this one actually uses the SOAP. So we're going to use a connector for SOAP. Let's see if I can just do consume. We're going to do consume web service. Drop this on here. Double click this. It's going to give us some information about this connector. And I'm going to grab the wizard location. So, okay. So let's create a, got to create a connector first for this. So we're going to use the SOAP connector, and we're going to put the wizard location in here, and it's going to generate all the stuff for you. You can see down here is actually generate a bunch of code for us. It's looking at the service itself and the port number, all the port and everything. So it probably has a lot of stuff for you already without having to generate your code yourself. So now we have our connector for this SOAP endpoint. All right. And so we're going to use, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to use the operation we're going to call, there's two in there. There's a find flights and list flights, and we're going to use the list flights operation, and we're going to use the body of the payload. So the body is essentially what you get back from a call to the SOAP service or a REST service or anything else. So you'll see payload a lot, and payload gets passed from processor to processor. So it's a generic term for the data that's being sent across there. Okay, so we're also going to use a transformer, and the transformer is going to transform the message that's being sent back to the browser. So we're going to get a transformer here, and we're going to transform this. So this is where we use our data weave. So data weave's got some cool features. There's actually there is a playground I wanted to show you. So it's dataweave.mulesoft/learn/playground, and you can actually paste different files in here, and you can actually run the dataweave translations on them. So I'm going to change this here. I'm going to say we're going to in some XML, and I actually have some XML here. That is what it comes back from the SOAP call. We're going to grab that real quick and paste that in there. I think it's pretty big. It's pretty big, so it will look like this. Nope. One sec. All right, so now we'll do payload. There's our payload that's coming back, and then we can do some transformations on it. So we can do this right here. That's no, and we can do. I think we can do some other stuff here too. Oh, I had the E's on there. That's what I missed. There's a transformation on there. So we can do things like payload response, all flights. So we're going to have a payload looks like this. This is going to be our data weave. And so you can kind of see in here what the values come back from that. So based on this XML structure, you can actually start doing your transformations right here in your browser and work on them. And it updates in real time. So that's pretty fun to mess around with. That's pretty fun. So
here the idea is to have both the REST API and the SOAP API having the same data structure. Even though one is going to return JSON, the other one is returning XML. I'm fetching the fields and the data I need, and returning one main data structure that it's the one that our new API will support. Is that
That's
correct?
exactly. I could not have said that better with or without a Spanish accent.
Cool, cool. You have a lot
Okay.
of fans in the chat right now. People are excited about the session. They are like praising what you did on the previous episode as well. So thank you very
Thank
much
you.
for all are you doing. And also remember, keep using that Zoom. It's very handy for us to get all the details. Yeah, awesome.
So
Thank you.
this is the output or the payload for the data weave transformer right here. You can see where we're getting the body, the payload that comes back. We're getting the body. There's a list of all flights response, and we're going to return a map of all of these objects here. It's going to be a key. It's going to be all these keys and these maps that come back. And I'll run this right now. We'll see this. So I'm going to go ahead and save this. Once I save this, it's going to restart the service, which is nice. And then we can run this. Let's see. Or I can stop it. Let's see. There it goes. It's going now. It's there we go. All right. So let's see. All right. I think it's up now. So now we should be able to go back here and this flights. And now we see all of our data coming out. Just like we specified.
This is mind blowing for me.
Yeah.
Dragging two items, just configuring where they are, and getting the full API and the full server running. It's very powerful.
Yeah.
And remember, I'm used to building everything from scratch, like building the code from scratch, and this can take me half a day, maybe of work.
Yeah.
So it's impressive.
So what we're gonna do now is so that was the Delta one. We're gonna actually move this to what's called a subflow. And a subflow, we're going to try and do this with the United one. So we're going to create a subflow. And a subflow, you can have a flow call as many subflows. Kind of think of it as basically as functions. So we're going to do this one. This is going to be the United one. So I'm going to call it United. And then we're going to grab the this one has HTTP. So we're going to grab a request listener for this. And then we're going to actually have to add new configuration as well. And so this one is, we had this URL last time. It's the Flight Finder URL. So I'm going to put the host in here. And then that's all I have to do for that. I'm going to add flights as that. And then let's see. Let's go ahead and the path is going to be /flight. Flights, and the body is going to be the payload. We got that. All right. And then we're going to also add a transform as well. All right. So we're going to add a transformer, and this transformer is going to be very, very similar. It's going to use data weave again. And we're going to do the same thing. We're going to give a map of the payload, and we're going to create this kind of structure that comes through there. And, this time we hard coded United Airlines, and the keys are almost the same as we have in there as well. So let's do this. I'm going to actually move these two into their own subflow as well. Let me do that real quick here. So I'm going to move these over here. We're going to call that one all delta. And the subflows just let you, it's like anything when you want to create a function, just make life easier and all the programming easier. So we're going to move this consume down into here. And this transform down here. And now, since instead of calling this delta, we're going to call United. So we're going to have what's called a flow reference. So I'm going to have a flow reference here, drag that on here. And the flow reference, it's going to allow us to reference another flow. So we're going to reference I got two. This is going to be all flights. This is flights. So now we can go, if we get the reference here, we can choose it to do, what we're just doing United. So let's do United this time. We're doing the rest one. So, okay. So now if I save this, we should see this pop back up. Oh, I'm gonna have to restart it real quick here. Don't know why it does that, but it crashes once in a while. All right, we'll run that.
So from here, I'm getting that it's one best practice to always group different APIs and operations within their own subflows. Is that
Yes,
correct?
that's
Okay.
right. Yep. You can do flows. Flows can call other flows, but subflows have no input and they have no error handling. So they use the error handling from the main flow itself, but we're not going to touch an error handling because that's a little bit touchy subject in MuleSoft. It's got a lot of, it's interesting to put that way, how it's done. So,
Okay.
all right. So now this time when we come over to the browser, instead of seeing Delta, we should see United. Okay, let's see what we get here. Coming back up.
There you
So
go.
now we get United. So was that simple by just having a flow reference, we can reference another part of our application. Any questions so far on that?
Okay. So far, some comments. Akbar is saying that one-liner JSON transformation is amazing. Just
Yes.
passing from an XML to JSON with just one line, it's super powerful. And yeah, it's similar to every other map filter reduce operation that we use elsewhere. But no questions so far. If anybody has any questions for Jeff, please go ahead and use the chat.
All right, so I'm going to have another one here, another subflow. We're going to do one now for American for the database. All right, so we'll call this one, you'll see how fun this is. This is for American, and this one has a, I think what is it? Database. We're going to do a select statement on here. All right, so select, and we're going to get these properties here. All right, so now for this configuration for the connector, we're going to add a new one again. If you've ever done JDBC connections, you know that can be fun. So we're going to change this to a generic connection. You see, there's multiple different ones you can use: Derby, SQL Server, MySQL. We're going to use a generic one. We're going to configure this. We're going to add a file from Maven. We're going to search for PostgreSQL. All right, I think we want, which one do we want? This one right, 42.6. Yeah, this one right here. And then we're going to hit finish. It's going to add that to our project. And now we're going to add our URL. So this is the URL to the database. We may have a space in there. Yeah, I have a little space in there. And we'll get the driver username. And then, I'm sorry, that's the driver. And we'll get the username for the database. And then the password. Okay. All right, let's test that. See if it connects to data. This is the database sitting on Heroku. It's Postgres on Heroku. Test successful. Okay, we got that now.
We have a question. We have a question from Akbar. Are those three different flows, how they are connected?
Right now, they're
trying to see the program flow. Okay, right now they're not. They're just defined. Okay.
Yeah, we're going to do that in a minute. We're going to make them all under one flow. Yeah. I'm just kind of building them and show you we can test along the way and stuff like that. So yeah.
Okay, and another question from TechLeague. What configuration and prerequisites we need for the MuleSoft IDE? Right now, it is not properly running in my laptop.
I do not know. It's listed on the download page. I know that much. So I do not know. I apologize.
Okay, technically, if you want to share maybe what error are you getting or why you say it is not working, maybe we can ask internally to see what might be happening. That sounds good.
Okay, so we're going to do so now we're connected to the database. I'm going to do our, let me see if I can, it's a little bigger. We're going to do select, all from, I think, American. That's what we're doing. Right, yep, from American. All right, so there's our database. And then we're going to also have a transformer, of course, transformers I use a lot everywhere. So you'll see those quite a bit on everything. We'll add our transformer, and then this will look similar too. We're going to output as JSON. We're going to loop to the map that comes back, and we're going to create objects that look like that again. Very similar, same output as Julian said, of the same structures that come out. So, All right, so now let's go ahead. We'll change this reference, and we'll have this reference point to this new one. And then we'll run that real quick. All right, so this will be all American. All right. So now if I save these, we should restart. We'll see if we get our stuff working. All right.
Oh, I think I see where are you going with this. I remember we have a code. If it start with an V or an U or an A, we might select a specific flow. Is that where are you going with this?
Yes. Yep.
Oh, nice.
We're gonna build the destination one, and then we're gonna actually join them all together. I have an image of what it looks like if that helps out. So
sure, please.
It'll end up looking like, let's see. It'll end up looking like this. So we have the references to all of our subflows right here, and then it'll come into listener. It'll set a variable. It'll do a choice based on if there's a destination or not. If the destination is blank, it's going to get all of them. If there's a destination, it'll query and get just the ones for that destination, and then I'll return those back in the same JSON.
And that's pretty much your question, Akbar. That's how Jeff is going to join all of those flows.
Correct. All right. So that should be up now. Yep. There we go. So let's see. This should be American, and it is American. All right. Awesome. We're doing pretty good so far. I'm doing better than any other guest on your show today.
Of course. I mean, we have done a lot of work in, 20 minutes. we have some questions here. Jeff, can we also add a REST resource from a Salesforce Apex API into this flow?
You can, you have the credentials. Yeah, you need an access token.
Okay. So with the access token, we treat that API as a REST API.
Yeah, it's another cool. API, yeah. Yep. There's a connector for Salesforce in here too. So.
Oh.
Okay. So now we've got basically the get all. So it just basically gets all the ones. We want to get it by destination now. So let's go ahead. We're going to build a couple more that does by destination. I'm going to kind of build these fast since we've seen how this works. Is that okay? I'll just build them real quick. And we'll
sure.
Okay. All right. So we're going to do the delta by destination. So we're going to do a subflow here. All right. We'll call this delta by destination. All right. And then we need to have so delta is a SOAP one. So we'll need to consume again. We'll need web service consume. There we go. We'll get this consume again. So this is delta. And then we'll, I need to do a transformer. I forgot when you make a request to the SOAP endpoint, you have to have a certain variable that's set. And it has to be packaged a certain way. So we're going to do a transformer for that and stick that in there. So the transformer will look like this. So it's going to take a variable. Take a variable that we have called destination as a string and pass it into the destination input for this flight finder.
Can you zoom in that
I can zoom, yes, sir.
Please? Yeah.
There we go, right there.
Awesome, thank you.
All right. So we got that. We're going to do the consume. We're going to do same web service. We're going to do find flight this time as the operation. All right, so we got that. And now we're going to do our transformer as well. So there's our transformer. And then for our transformer, we're going to look very similar. And you'll see a lot of times these transformers will almost be exactly the same. We don't have time to do it, but you can make those itself its own subflow. So they all share the same subflow that does a transformation as well. We can definitely do that. All right, so there's the delta by destination. We can do a united by destination. So let's grab another subflow. Call this, I clicked on the wrong one.
Jeff, one question. Sure. In the repository you share with us, is this project also in there?
Not yet.
Okay.
I will upload it though. Yes, I will upload it.
Okay,
Yep.
cool.
So then we have to have a request. This is United. Okay. Okay. So we're going to do this one now, and then we're going to have the path is going to use the destination on here. So we're going to use the same connector, the request connector. Let me zoom in a little bit. So for the path, we're going to use a function here, and we're going to paste it in here. So it's going to do /flights. And it's going to add the destination variable on there to give us the right destination. Okay. So there's that. And then we'll get another transformer. And for the transformer, look very similar as well. There's a transformer. I'm going to save that. And last one we'll do is the American one by destination. So, okay, so we got American by destination. Okay. So we got that. All right. And then American has something that's the database. We'll do a select as well. Select. Okay. Select. And we're going to do this is our SQL query right here. Make this bigger. All right. We're going to choose the database connector. Select that there. And then we're also going to use this import parameter. All right. So for the import parameter, it's going to look like this. Oops. Grab this here. It's essentially a key value pair. So it'll look like that right there. So the to airport equals the upper of the destination variable that came around. Okay.
Cool.
All right.
One question from the chat from Nina. How do you manage data mesh?
Can you talk about meshing data from multiple sources together?
Yeah, let's wait until they receive that question back and we can reply. So let's continue with this.
All right. So that is all of them by destination. So we have to do something here. We have to also add a variable that looks up. So we'll add a variable here. So when it comes over here, it'll be flights, and then we want to check out if they passed a destination variable on the URL. So we're going to do set variable. Let's see. So we're going to set a variable here because variables will persist through the entire life of the payload to the application. So you can set them once, and they can be picked up through anything throughout that application. So we're going to call this set destination. It's a little bigger also. And this is going to be, where's my destination? Here it is. Okay. So the destination will look like this. It'll look like the variable is called destination. And the value is going to be attributes the query param destination. And if not, it's going to be just blank.
Okay.
Okay.
And yes, Jeff, it's about integrating all of the data on a mesh.
Yep. We're actually going to go through that in a minute here. That's part of this process we're going to go through is meshing it all together. Yep.
Cool.
I'll show you. It's pretty cool. All right. So we're going to do American by destination. So I changed this reference on the flights to point to the American by destination subflow. So let's try that real quick. I'm going to save all these and restart this. And depending on how far we go, we have actually two flows. One's the flights flow and one's the flight by code flow. I don't think we're going to have enough time to do the flights by code flow, to tell you the truth. It's basically the same process. So maybe we can release another video on that or something like that, but it's the same process.
Yeah, maybe when you share the project, we can have that. But it would be good to see the rest, like meshing the data, like having the whole flow integrated.
Yeah, we're going to do this flights flow. There's another flow where you, and while that's loading, I'll show you. We had it where we are on the API designer, where we could get it by code. I think I might skip that one, so I may not have time for that one if you want to take questions. So, but we'll do all this right here, and then we'll return one set of data back from all three data sources. All right, so that's about up. Okay. And so we're going to go and we're going to say flights. It's almost there. There we go. All right. What am I supposed to see? There we go. So there's flights by destination. Okay. If we take that off, we get. They have heavy flights, and that's probably why. So, okay. Oh, I know why we haven't changed that route. That's why we're just getting ones by destination. That's why it only works for that one. We're going to hook it up to where they all work now. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take all of these flows we just created, these subflows, and actually add them to this flow and make them all work in tandem. Okay. So I'm going to delete this flow reference. All right. And so now what we're going to do is we're going to do a choice. And a choice is basically like an if then is all that really is. We can do a choice of things to do. So I'm going to go and I'm going to grab a choice over here. Let me find my stuff here. All right. Okay. And then we're going to do, let's see, we want to do another one. So we want to drag this one over here. We're going to do a couple flow references. We're going to do a flow reference. When it's this. So when destination, I think it's destination is, let's see, I want to say it's equals. So we're going to do that. And then we're going to do another one over here. Oh, I'm sorry. This is, I got the wrong thing here. We want to do a when, and we're going to say bars dot destination equals blank. When it's blank, we're going to get all of them. Okay.
Okay.
So this one's going to be for when there's no destination. This one's going to be when there is a destination. Okay. So what we're going to do now is we're going to do what's called let me draw a blank here. We're going to do a scatter gather. It's just an interesting name. So a scatter gather is what she's talking about in melding the data together. What a scatter gather does is you add different flows to it, and it'll run those flows asynchronously. And then when they're all done, it'll combine them all into one body with different keys for each result. So I'll share that in a second. So we've got the scatter gather, and then on the scatter gather, we're going to do a flow reference to the first one, which is make that bigger. We're going to do that one for the all American. We'll do all Delta first, so I don't get confused on the order. We're going to do that. We're going to do another flow reference. And this one's going to be for the all united. All united. And then we're going to do another flow reference for the all American.
I think you picked all Delta in the previous one as well.
I think I did what now?
You picked all Delta.
Did I? All Delta? Oh, you're right. So this one should be united. Thank you.
It's good to have an extra couple of eyes.
It is. Thank you. I usually label those. So we could do this all Delta, all united. United. This is all Delta. All Delta. And this one is all American. Okay. All right. So we got that. So then we do a transformation. So the transformation is kind of cool. This one is. So there's a so I can find this one out. So it's this now. So let's see. Hang on one second here. A code. Map. Sorry about that. Consumed by destination. Okay, here we go. These are all the same. So this is what she was talking about here about meshing the data. So what we do is we get the data that comes back. You can see it out of this scatter gather right here. It brings back, the payload has 3 objects. As the first, the second, and the third. And these correspond to these ones right here. So what we're going to do is we're going to use a data weave function to flatten them, to basically take all 3 of them and smush them together. I wish the function was called smush. That'd probably make more sense on it though. So we're going to do that. So we basically listen for things, set a variable for the destination, then we do a choice. If it doesn't have a destination, it gets all of them, and then we'll do one if it has a destination in a second here. So let's go ahead and save all these, and we'll restart that. Yeah, the restarting the server takes the most time, unfortunately. While we're doing that, I'm gonna go ahead and start building this other one. So we're gonna do this scatter gather over here as well. This is gonna be a scatter gather as well, and we're gonna add references, flow reference for a bunch of these here as well. Flow reference there, flow reference here, another one here. Okay, this should be up now. Okay, so now we should be able to go here and do our flight. Oh, I think I have an error somewhere. All right. Let me see here. Okay, we'll keep going on with this part right here, and then we'll fix it at the same time with the same save part. So I think I'm at errors right here. No, that should be right. Oh, I bet it's this part right here. Where's that destination? All right, let's fix these first right here. These are going to be flow references to the get by destination. So we're going to do the delta destination. Delta by destination. I'm going to make this bigger here. And then we're going to do the united by destination. United by destination. And then let's see, we're going to do the last one is going to be American by destination. And then we'll grab this one right here, my destination. Okay. So this should tell me where my errors are at. Here, let's see. No, let's see. One error right here. Okay. Oh, you know what it is? It's double. That's why. My bad. Okay. Should be able to grab that now. Okay.
One single typo can take your
One
API
typo,
down.
no.
But so far, this is so powerful.
Okay. All right, let's see. We're up here now. Let's hope I got the right one now. Let's see. All right,
There
great.
you go.
Okay. So now you can see we have Delta. We have Delta. We have American, and we have, what's the other one? United. We have United. All right. So let's grab one here. Let's grab this by code. Let me see if I can get this a little bigger here now. We'll grab this by code or by destination. Let's see. Want to do SFO. Oh, let's see. Not serialized. That's an interesting one. Look at that.
I think that by destination doesn't have the transform at the end.
Oh, maybe you're right. Yeah. Let's see.
I'm learning.
Oh, you're right. Look at that. Man,
I'm
you should be a
learning.
MuleSoft
Yeah.
developer. Look at that. Woo.
So
That is
if
why.
what I saw on that scatter gather is that when it's flattening the results, it's doing it in the same order they are coming, like first Delta, then United, then American.
Yes.
If I want to sort them out by date, is there a function in DataWeave that allows me to do that, or do I need to add an extra
That's a great question. If you
transformation?
want to sort them, if you want them sort them first by destination,
Or yeah, like or by date, departure
yeah,
date, or
that's a great question. There's a lot of methods in here for the for data wave, and I have to look on that. I know we had talked about that before, and I think you have to do a different transformer. You have to transform each one of those individually.
okay,
So, but it can be done.
okay.
Yeah. And by the way, I'm not sure everybody knows, but data weave now is available inside of Salesforce as part of Apex too.
We have covered that topic previously on codeLive, and it's coming again. We are going to have like a more deeper a session about data whip. It's planned
Okay.
after July, so you know, folks, that more data whip is coming into this channel.
So here we go. This is destination by SFO. So we got SFO, or we can do LAX. We can do LAX. We'll get all LAX ones down there. So you can see LAX. Got a bunch of LAX in there. We can do, I think, so it's on CLE, whichever that is, CLE. CLE, there we go. Okay. So there was another flow we're going to build, but I don't think we'll have time to build it and also deploy this. I'll just show it to you real quick. It's basically what we just did a minute ago. So we have a listener for get flights by code. It was the one we used to do flight/code. And it's roughly the same thing. You set a variable for the code like we did for destination. You have a choice router, and you do all the references for the ones we haven't built yet, which is getting the flights from different airline agencies by code. Okay, it's basically give me an ID, look up the results. Okay, is what that is. So we didn't build that one, but it's almost exactly what we did a minute ago. So, but one thing I wanted to do is I wanted to deploy this to Anypoint Platform to show you how easy it is. So I'm gonna actually I need to make sure. So one thing here I wanted to add so that way I didn't mess anything up. There's an artifact name. I think I already had this actually used. So okay. So we're gonna deploy this to Anypoint Platform to Cloud Hub. So we can do Anypoint Platform, deploy to Cloud Hub. She asked me for my credentials up here. I'm gonna get my credentials real quick.
And I can do this with the trial.
This I am using the trial right now. Yes.
Oh.
I am using the trial. So here we go. So right in with that and my password. If that's not going to work, I'm going to be upset.
Folks, if you don't have it, go ahead, register and sign up for the trial. You have 30 days to use MuleSoft, deploy, transform things, follow along all of these videos. So please go ahead. It's a great way to learn.
You know what? We're not going to be able to actually get in there. I don't know why I can't get in there. I'm sure it was somebody else, but that's the credentials I had in there. Let me look one more time here. Unless I got a typo in there somewhere. Let's see.
Are they case sensitive? Maybe the live.
I don't know. I was just in there yesterday, so interesting. I don't know. Well, I apologize. We can maybe when the part we'll shoot a video of the second flow that I built, and we'll show deploying it to Cloud Hub.
Okay, but I guess it is just click and deploy.
It's all it really is. It's click and deploy.
Let me see if I can give you some credentials that I have.
Okay.
If that works. Let me find. I have an account that might be available. So let me share on our.
I used the wrong password.
Okay, cool. Awesome.
Okay. So we'll do this one more time.
So you're happy.
Deploy to Cloud Hub. All right, we're going to choose a sandbox. All right, we're going to codeLive. Okay, we did that. We're going to select the runtime versions for the latest, and we're going to have the V1 core, which is the smallest we can do, and then deploy. So you can see down here it's deploying. You can run through things. So it's not a lot to look at. So let's go ahead and we're going to just jump into Anypoint Platform. Okay, yeah, I should be already logged in here. Let's see. I'm already logged in. Okay. Yep. So now if we go here, we go to Runtime Manager. Let's see if it's deploying now. It's not deploying. This is the one I did yesterday. So we'll see it pop up in a few minutes here if we have enough time. But once it builds, it takes about 10, 15 minutes to build it. So that's why I didn't want to wait. I want to have another one here. So you can click on the actual application. You can see all the settings. You can upload different versions of a jar. We do get this endpoint right here. So I'll show you that. But we do get some nice dashboards as well. So one of the things they wanted to have was actually look at monitoring and availability for this. So you can look at all kinds of requests that come through here. You can look at inbound, outbound. You can look at the JVM, what's going on in the JVM, all that stuff as well. So let me go ahead and we're going to launch this up here. So this is what I did yesterday. So we'll do /flights. There's our flights again. And we can do, of course, by destination. We'll do SFO. Okay, so now one thing we didn't build, and I'll make this a little bit bigger here. We didn't do flights by code. So if I had this code here, I want to look at the details of the flight. Now, like I said, we didn't build this flow. We ran out of time, but I just kind of want to show you how it works. So we can add this code here, and we'll grab it.
There you go.
That was Delta. We could do the same thing for what else? Some of the other ones. Let's see. I do like how there's one in here that they call it Boeing. They call it a Boeing 737. I thought that was pretty interesting.
Boeing.
A Boeing. So let's see. So then here's United. So we'll do a United one. And that grabs it out too. So in 30 minutes or so, we built an API that you can get hosted right on the web. It may take an hour to do all that.
It's just having the original data sources and the APIs, and like it's kind of building with blocks. I love the approach.
Yeah.
One question that I have is, what about authentication? Where do I define that? In the Anypoint Studio or here in the Runtime Manager? For example, if I want to add a layer of authentication behind this API.
So you can store credentials in the environment variables in Anypoint Platform. Like you're saying, you could do that as well. And then, or you could have, maybe a signed URL if you wanted to, but all those keys can be stored in Anypoint Platform. There's a whole key manager part we have down here for secrets.
Okay.
All that can be stored here and then referenced at runtime to actually authenticate to other backends.
And can I implement the basic auth, JWT, OAuth
Yep. Yeah, there is. So in the designer, you can actually specify. I don't know if I can do it here now. Let's see. You can do secured by. I think we'll give you. There's a list of different things you can use. One's basic auth. I think it's basic. Can I do it here? Let's see. What if I just do basic? I can't remember off the top of my head. Basic. Yeah, I do have actually the Anypoint Platform one we did one a minute ago. You can see from the this one right here. This specification is for a different project, but this one does use basic auth. In here you can see I use basic auth for this.
Okay.
It's pretty easy to set up to that. And you can have JOT through here also. I think you can do straight OAuth too. I'm not sure what the other ones are, but there's quite a few security schemes. I think you can roll your own as well.
Oh, perfect. So it's in the API design, not in the implementation.
Right. You can design it. Yep.
It makes total sense. This is great. Anything else do you want to show us before we go into the bye-byes?
No, we just basically had enough time to do it. So what do you want to do for the other flows. Do you want to do? Well, I guess we can talk about that afterwards.
Yeah, I mean, for the other flows, what we can do is share the project, so all the people have access to the source. They can open it on AnyPoint Studio, take a look at how you set up those things, and also you can go ahead and not sure if they will have access to the other APIs, the SOAP, the REST, and the
Gotcha.
Heroku database, but maybe you can try with your own. Like if you have a SOAP or if you have a REST API, or if you wanna and mesh them together, go ahead and follow along and play with this.
And here's the one we just deployed. This is it. The one we just built and deployed. It's up in under about 5 minutes or so. So that's nice.
Okay. We were able to show the whole process in less than an hour. This is very, very powerful, Jeff. Jeff, what's next? What are we going to see on our next episode?
Next episode, we're going to do some magic, and we're going to take the code that's in Salesforce, the Apex code that was calling those two endpoints with REST callouts, and we're going to actually change them to use this API. Plus, we're going to use some external services, so that way we can call this API from not only Apex but from also Flow.
Okay.
That's going to be pretty cool.
Now we are getting into the code. Awesome, amazing. Jeff, thank you very much for joining us today and sharing this amazing project you have been working on. I'm pretty sure all of the folks that are watching us right now learned a lot, and this video is going to be recorded and kept in YouTube, because I'm sure that we will need to rewatch it a couple times and follow along. There is a lot to process here, but it has been an amazing learning process. Thank you very much for all your time, Jeff.
It's a lot to build in 30 minutes, 45 minutes.
Oh yeah, no, we did a lot in this like little time. Fantastic. So Jeff, see you on the next one. And now, thank you very much, you all, for joining me on this codeLive. Remember, go ahead, visit our YouTube channel, click on subscribe and the notification bell, and take a look on all of the upcoming sessions that we are going to have here live in our YouTube channel. See you on the next one. Bye bye.